the self-quarantine times, I watched lots of films that I didn't
Online
get
teaching is quite good, especially for morning lectures.
2 minutes right before the class, I get up, open the laptop,
Once the
and
professor
start
forgot
my
to turn
online.
off the share screen and suddenly just showing her WhatsApp messages with her husband.
I was wearing my PJs, and then there was this one colleague who showed up in a shirt and a bow tie. I mean, he never even wear a proper tie when he goes to work.
Okay, we all have some pretty funny stories now about our life online during the coronavirus social distancing, including the team here at the Sustainable Asia podcast. For me, it's the stupid pet videos that people post during quarantine that kind of knock me over. So we decided that we needed a bit of a break from the seriousness of our previous COVID-19 episodes, and we want to talk about documentaries. Like, how do famous directors approach a documentary? And maybe where can you take a course online if you want to make a documentary? And also, how can documentaries help with your online teaching and even conference calling? My name is Marcy Trent Leung. This is Season 8, COVID-19 with HKU. Who better to talk about documentaries than an Oscar-winning film director who teaches at the University of Hong Kong? We caught up with Ruby Yang in her home last week.
Okay, my name is Ruby Yang. I'm currently teaching a documentary production course at HKU JMSC.
JMSC is the Journalism and Media Studies Center at HKU. So Ruby, what do you think about online learning?
Teaching online is okay. I mean, we try to get the attention of all the students, facing the computer for 2.5, 3 hours. And it's like entertainment. I mean, we try to be very lively. So I think it works for a couple of sessions. But for 3 months is a tough one.
I think Hong Kong schools have been closed longer than most cities in the world. Schools shut their doors here at the end of January. And as you can hear from the intro, we're all starting to lose our focus a bit.
Because it's so hard to get the eyeballs now. And just teaching online, facing the Zoom for 3 hours, it's just really hard. I can see the student not paying attention, they move around. So you have to really plan your class, like having a lot of film clips, not just plain talking, and to make a really online class work is a lot of work. It's like making a mini documentary or promotional documentary. Just plain talking, I think is tough.
But Ruby does see a role for some online learning.
I think short form is okay. Short, like for 3 to 4 sessions, and then you can put it on YouTube, and then people can click on it and watch the films. I buy that a lot. And there are Masterclass online. I noticed they do it really fancy. They have all these like fancy equipment, and they do a lot of cutaway to attract the attention of the viewer.
Yesterday, I was a guest lecturer at a JMSC podcast class, and in their special studio with 3 cameras, lavalier microphones, and even a technician recording everything. Even still, no one asked a single question for an hour and a half. Even with all the different camera angles and a cool PowerPoint presentation, I'm not sure if the students were even listening.
Yes, it's true. It's like you have to do like a show because it's such a digital image, right? It doesn't, you can touch it. So it's like you have to use music and all kind of stuff. I know it for sure because I make documentary. I know how hard it is to get the attention of the audience. If you are trapped in a theater, that's very different. But if you are just at home and they are free to do whatever they want. That's tough.
Even watching films at home these days, you're always tempted to grab your phone when it pings a notification. So what's the secret sauce for making digital content or even documentaries that'll keep your audience glued to the screen?
I think that for filmmakers, they are very clear with what story they want to tell. And for me, I think the theme is very important. You have to define, besides the story you want to tell, is what is the theme? What is the work you try to reach your audience? What is it about? I do a lot of advocacy documentary, and there are many kind of documentary. It could be just observational. It could be just about a story about a person. It can be historical. But I think for advocacy documentary, if you don't have a theme, then you can go all over the place. For example, the Blood of Angel District is about HIV/AIDS in China. You can cover a lot, but my theme was just stigma. So it's easier to tell this story with young children who suffer HIV/AIDS, and you narrow down to the protagonist, you narrow down your theme to stigma, and then we follow them for a year, and then we make the film. So that's an example.
Okay, so we try to focus on themes and storytelling when we produce our podcast series. The question is then, what are the unique qualities documentarians need to convey their messages in a meaningful and engaging manner?
I think for documentary filmmaker, to observe and be curious is the most important character you have. If you're not curious, if you don't want to observe, then it will be it will be hard to become a documentary filmmaker, and if you don't have patience.
Okay, so curiosity and patience, that could work. But there's some technical knowledge that I might need as well. I understand, Ruby, that you also put together a list of online courses to learn documentary filmmaking, and you're even making those available for free?
In the last couple of years, I have had a Hong Kong documentary initiative since 2017. We have invited many renowned documentary filmmakers from all over the world to come to Hong Kong to speak to the student and other audience. And we have collected many videos, and we put the videos online for free. And last year, very, very fortunate to get a grant from Create Hong Kong and able to edit all the videos into 74 videos. And we have Chinese subtitles on those videos.
So with the extra time during the COVID-19 pandemic, I have no excuse not to pick up another hobby beyond podcasting, documentary filmmaking. But as Ruby Yang pointed out, it may not be as easy as it looks. And like with podcasts, it's all about the theme and the story you want to tell. So to get a head start doing some online learning, I asked our associate producer, Crystal Wu, to take a look at the Hong Kong Documentary Initiative online videos which Ruby launched and tell us what she thinks. I also asked her to check out some of the e-learning recommendations on the HKU Fight COVID-19 website. So Crystal, what do you think?
Well, currently I'm actually taking the free online classes with the best documentarians, aforementioned by Dr. Ruby Yang. For example, on cinematography and on color grading. But there are all sorts of free resources of all different fields that we can find online these days, from free literature to free public health lectures like Epidemics 1 and Epidemics 2 from HKU. We will put a link to Hong Kong U's Fight COVID e-learning page in our show notes. If you want to learn more about this topic, check out the website fightcovid19.hku.hk.